Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and today I am going over my recommendations for winter eyeshadow palettes for 2023. I don't think I've ever done a winter eyeshadow palette recommendation video on my channel, so this is brand new content for sure. And yeah, we're just gonna talk about some good wintry color stories. Before we get too far into the video, if you have not already, I would love it if you consider subscribing. I upload videos twice a week. It's totally free to subscribe, and I would love to have you back on the channel again in the future and talk with me in the comments about your favorite makeup. So these palettes are not ranked in any way, shape, or form. They're just listed randomly. Some of them are currently available. Some of them are no longer available because I just went through my collection like in general of what I thought was wintry, okay? So first one we're gonna start with is What's on My Eyes. This is from Game Beauty, the Fantasy palette. And this is, like I said, one of them that is not available, but use this video as a reminder. If you have this palette, pull it out of your collection. Again, this is what I have on the eyes today. And to me, a winter color story is something that is blue or maybe icy, purples, just to me personally, sometimes maybe a little bit of grunge, wintry color story. So some of this could be seen as a little bit of spring with the pastels, but particularly this part of the palette, very wintry. I used Celestial, which is the white in the inner corner, Ice Fantasy, Courage, and Mage, all of those bottom row mattes, and Mana, this kind of cool mixed shade, as well as Ethereal on the lid today. If you are curious about any of the other makeup I'm wearing, I will leave a list in the description. I really hope Game Beauty does more of these little magnetic styles. Not only is the artwork stunning when you open it up, but I just feel like this has more of the gaming theme than the palettes that they just released, the like elemental ones. I've heard the quality is better on the shimmers of those than these, but I don't think the theming and the aesthetic hits the same way as it does in this format. I have almost all of this format of palettes from them. I really want the Cyberpunk just to round out my collection because I have all the other ones. Maybe next time I have a sale, but I hit my limit and then some on Black Friday, so still missing that one, but that's more like bright. So I felt like for winter, I could suffice with this one without buying it anyway because it's just this nice, like I said, purpley, blue, blown out, sparkly with that like icy shade on top that I just want during the winter time. Next up from Odins Eye, the Nord's palette. Now this is available, but they have updated it so it's in their current pan shape. This is the old circle pan shape. I'm not sure if the formula is different or not, but this to me especially is winter, this portion of the palette. We have some of those like dark blues, and sometimes I feel like even berry can be winter, but it's not red. Like this is not a Christmas palette video. That's coming. That's going to be separate. These are winter specific, but just how sparkly some of these shades are. And then on the bottom row, I don't feel like the orange is super wintry, but again, if you take that out and look at everything else, the sparkle on this bottom row of this palette, I know this is the palette for a lot of people that they said, oh, now I'm paying attention to Odins Eye because they've started stepping it up. The Nord's palette is still available from Odins Eye, but like I said, it's in their like updated packaging and pan shades. But if you, like me, have the original, now's your chance to pull it out and give it some love again. Next up from Ace Beauty, we have the Oceanic palette. Now I haven't gotten a chance to use this one myself. This is one of the first things that's come in from my Black Friday haul. That video will come too as soon as all of those items come in. I bought this in the updated formula. They do still have some of the old formula. I have some stuff in their old formula and it's just okay in my opinion. I hadn't purchased anything from the new formula, so I wanted to try it because I've heard people say like how much better it is in comparison, so we shall see. But again, just these like murky blue tones. There's a little bit of green in here, but there's not too much. I think you can still see like the wintry vibe that we're going for if you just leave out a couple of those grungy shades, because you're not going to use every single eyeshadow shade in every single look anyway. By the way, if there's videos I've already made on any of these, I'll leave them linked, but If there's something that I have and I've used but I haven't made a video on, let me know if you want to see something. I'd be happy to film it. Maybe give you some different winter looks just as some inspiration. Next up from Aether Beauty, this is the Moonlight Crystal palette. I think this brand is officially like closed and done. So this is another just, it's not available, but if you have it in your collection, pull it out. Again, it's got some of those nice even satin shades in this, purples and blues and just like dusty slash icy shades I feel like are perfect for this season. I really did like this one when I used it, and I don't know if I've used it again since then, but that's why we're pulling these out of our collection and reminding ourselves, hey look, we've got some good stuff already here, right? Let's use what we've got and feel the winter vibes. The next one's one of my absolute favorites. I've talked about it before, from BH Cosmetics, the Blueberry Muffin palette. I don't know if BH is ever going to get to this level again now that they've been bought by Makeup Revolution. I'm just keeping it real. But this was such a time when these little, what was this series? It was like the weekend vibes, like they had the mimosa and like this little series that came out of palettes. This one is so nice. It has great cool tones. There's even a couple like duochromes that are like beigey, bluey, like a berry tone mixed in there. The shimmers are so good in this. I don't think I've seen shimmers, I can't think of like at this price point and like drugstore level shimmers like this. Maybe a couple color pops, but this is just really, really nice. Again, we've got some of those blues. I think gray too is a really pretty winter color. If you have something gray that you could do either an all gray look or pair gray with some of those deeper purples or blues. Speaking of color pop, the Aurora Strike palette. This, it just is packaging. I know it's the Northern Lights, but it gives me very winter vibes for this one. And the color story also includes, like I said, the purples, the blues, the grays, and I like this one too because it goes kind of from like a lighter like pastel gradient to your deepers all the way down. And it's really easy to pick and find color stories in like little quads. So I do like stuff like this too that has like an ethereal quality where you could do something that's kind of like light and pastel-ish, but it's not like Easter pastel, right? Because they do have this kind of like muted undertone to them, or because you are pairing it with like a gray, it makes it look a little more wintry to me than like a pastel spring Eastery look. This one is just one that I think ColourPop like outdid themselves on color story wise. I don't have a ton of their like big palettes like this because I'm just not into that many shades. I think one of the only other big ones I have like this is the Kathleen Lights collab, the Such a Gem. Is it called Such a Gem? The one that Kathleen Lights did with them. I think that might be the only other big one, but when I saw this color story, ooh, I fell in love with that. We have a visitor, a rare Adelaide sighting. She's normally not this affectionate and doesn't want to come up while I'm filming, but she's licking my face for some reason and rubbing up on me. Wes and I went away overnight, so I don't know if she's just lonely and missed us or what the deal is, but this is Adelaide for those of you who haven't seen her. She is, how old are you now? 6. Our little calico girl that we have. Girl, I gotta go back to the palette video, okay? Can you just stay there and be a good girl? The next palette is from Ensley Rain Cosmetics. I'll leave my last month's palette ranking if you haven't seen it yet. I ranked this very high, and I've ranked it very high several times. It, I believe, was a limited edition collab, and Ensley Rain is not cheap by any means, but it's called the Midwinter Dream palette. I mean, come on, could we not put this in the winter palette video, right? And this just has such special shades to it. Here's the packaging a little bit up closer for you, but it just has such special shades, you guys. I don't think anything else in this video is as shifty or as sparkly as this one. It's just the name of the indie brand game, you know. But again, we've got those blues, not as much blue in this one, a couple blue shimmers, and like this one's kind of a tealy blue, but we definitely have the like deep purples and a little bit pastel. I think I like this one a lot too because just like the ColourPop, it goes from light to dark, but this formula is much elevated from the ColourPop one for sure. I will do Nomad next because I know this palette isn't available, and I'll end with something that is available from Nomad Cosmetics, the Whistler, Snow Whistler eyeshadow palette. Is it called Snow Whistler or Whistler Lodge? I can't remember, but it's this one. And I saw Brittany do this video. I'll leave her video and channel linked. It's kind of what inspired me to do this video, and she mentioned this one. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, you're so right, Brittany. How could we leave this one out? It's got the blues. Even sometimes I think greens, when done in this way, can be a little winter. I just love the cabin aesthetic and theme that they did. Oh my gosh, Adelaide, you're being so much right now. Do you guys see this girl? You see this little baby girl, how much she's being right now? And I do love a gold too, popped in with some of these, like blue and gold. I do like that color combination a lot. So again, if you have this one, pull it out. You've got some lovely berries and things too that you could do. And the Nomad formula is gorgeous. I personally like a glitter primer with the shimmers to make them pop a little more personally, but a good one nonetheless. I'm trying to show them all these palettes, and you just have to be in my lap this very moment, don't you? The people are getting to see a lot of you today. You know that? Yes. This is probably the most they've ever seen. Not normally a very social, like, people person cat. I don't know what this sudden mood change is right now, but she gets into her snuggly cuddly moods like, I don't know, once every blue moon, once every couple of months, she'll be like, okay, today I like you and I like people and I want to be by you and pet you and lick your face and all kinds of stuff. Is anybody else's cat like that, where they are usually a loner and then all of a sudden they're attached to the hip with you? It's a bit how she is. All right, and the last two that I'm gonna mention are from Unearthly Cosmetics, the In the Dark palette and the Dead of Night palette. Now these are more like grungy wintry. They definitely don't have like the pastels that I've shown you in some of the other palettes, but they are great. Not only does Unearthly do these like very nice magnetic boxes that the palettes come in, and then it's like a box within a box, but the formula, I mean, knock your socks off, incredible for these. This is the Redone in the Dark that I think is a little bit smaller, and I like smaller pans personally because, like, am I gonna go through a whole pan? Probably not. So I'd rather have a smaller one and have the cost go down. But again, we have these blues and purples, and we have these lovely shimmers. Oh, so pretty. I mean, those like tapped all over the lid in itself, even without the mattes, would be so sparkly and pretty. So that is a great one from Unearthly. And then the other one is called In the Dark. And these shimmers, even just looking at them in the pan, I really don't know if the camera is going to be able to do them justice, just how sparkly they look. Oh my gosh. I know I don't have a video on my channel of this palette. So again, if you want to see this one or any others to get some wintry inspiration, just let me know. Here is the Dead of Night. Comes in one of those magnetic boxes as well. And here's the color story. Again, I don't know if the camera can pick up on like star in the corner here, just how incredibly sparkly they are, but holy moly. And I do like the fact that there is, again, gloom, this gray, and nightfall. I don't feel like there's a lot of gray shimmers or dark shimmers in a lot of palettes, so that's really fun to me. And I just love the moon embossing. I don't know, something about the moon in winter, to me, it's just different. Like a summer moon, fine, but a winter moon, I really don't know what that is and why I associate it like that, but to me that makes it more wintry than if it was just some other embossing. Well guys, those are all of my 10 winter 2023 palette recommendations. What palettes did I forget? Is there something in my collection you know I have because you've watched my channel that's wintry, or something in your collection that you think just really screams winter that would be a great recommendation for people as they're shopping their stash? Let Adelaide and I know in the comments. I know I'm going to try to shop my stash a lot more. I'm on a low buy now, but I'm going to try to really amp up the rules and be more strict next year. So Would love to have you along for that. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up so that I know you want more content like this, and I hope to see you again on the next one. maybe with a different cat or this one. We'll see. She's getting into my brushes now, so I'm gonna go. Bye.